and all of us.
What's happening? Andy here today. I am joined by a whole bunch of people from OpenText. What's happening, guys? What's happening at OpenText?
Hey, Andy. Hey, we're real excited here at OpenText, getting an opportunity to chat with you.
It is great to see you guys again, Phil. I'm glad I got the memo on the color. I fit right in. I feel like I fit right in. So, OpenText is one of these companies that I've seen around for years and years and years. We've talked to you guys at meetings and conferences here and there, and we're working together. And I thought it would be a good opportunity maybe to have you guys on the show and talk about who is OpenText, what do you guys do, and office equipment resellers. Why should how can you help them? Put more money in their pockets and find some margins and deals that, they're struggling with right now with what's going on. So great to see you guys. I think let's just jump right in. I want to find out, tell me about OpenText. What is OpenText? What's the software do? What are you known for? Phil, why don't you start us off?
All right. Well, OpenText is a big company. We're a global company. Now, we develop and sell enterprise information management software. Now that's a big, okay, what does that really mean? The group that you're looking at today, we concentrate and focus on our secure information management. And to make it even easier, it's fax products and secure file exchange solutions. So that's what we do. And, one of the cool things is that, just recently, and it seems recent is 2 years ago.
He had a big acquisition.
Yeah, there was a big acquisition. And, we've got XMedius, which a lot of folks out there in the MFP space worked with XMedius. And then there was folks that actually worked with OpenText. And the thing is that, we've got two world-class products with XM Fax, and everybody knows RightFax because they were the 10x leader in the marketplace for so many years. I'm aging myself here, but 30 plus odd years ago, we were selling, analog fax servers that was RightFax. So now what we've got is, two amazing products that are under one roof. Now, the big question that people ask is, how's that going? And it's actually going real well. With any acquisition, I think there's only two things that have to occur. The first thing is, you've got to remember, what is the most, competitive and most sustainable competitive advantage, and that's the people. And, we've done a great job. The people are strong. And then the second thing is that, our partners and our customers, they still remain very profitable, very happy. Our dealers that are out there and MFP manufacturers that we've been working with, they remain strong. They're seeing double-digit revenue growth selling our stuff. So, I guess at the end of the day, with that acquisition, we've got two strong companies together, and we're all operating under the OpenText umbrella today, and we're pretty excited about it.
And you did all this during the pandemic. How did that go?
Well, it's interesting because one of the things, that the pandemic did is it opened up the eyes for, being able to securely communicate information and sharing it. So it's been a whirlwind for us, and our business has really taken off, and especially in the cloud. Because people want to be able to send information no matter where you are and no matter what time it is.
Yep, home offices, regular offices, hybrid offices, right? So it's this technology just got a little bit more important. You did mention, something near and dear to me, the office equipment resellers. That's who's going to be watching this. Let's talk a little bit about OpenText and your relationship with office equipment resellers. You support some big ones. I know I've heard Dex uses you guys, and UBO and FTG, and you have 3 of the 5 biggest right there, and just a ton of others. Is this a enterprise product for just the big boys, or is this something that is a product for all dealers, big dealers, small dealers? Who wants to answer this? Was this Oscar?
Sure, I'll take that on. The dealer network for these manufacturers is so important, right? And there's a high level of trust, and that relationship goes deep, because a lot of times these manufacturers started with these dealers when they were small, as they grew into bigger mega dealers. And of course, there's always still the smaller dealers. as well. So, these dealers depend on the manufacturer for not only profitability, for new information, launch information, sales training and support, but also to extend their sales force, to extend their professional services teams down to their end users. And so these manufacturers have different programs in place that will support dealers buying directly through them for the smaller dealers, right? And where they may not have that expertise, or they may not really want, or they don't have the time, or they haven't had the time to train people on our products. So the beauty of it is that OpenText, we get involved and we're able to help both the manufacturer as they work with the dealers, and of course, even the dealers independently will work directly with them and their end users. We have a network of sales and executives that work directly with both the manufacturers and those dealers. And what's great is that because of the experience that we have, and because there's such a high knowledge of the channel, they know exactly how to talk to an end user while they're representing a small or a large dealer or a manufacturer in some cases. So it's a unique position that we're in, and it's great that we have that experience, and we've got a lot of tenure on this call specifically. But the number one thing for these dealers is trust, right? They always have to trust who they're working with, because they're exposing their end users to OpenText, and that's one thing that we just keep at the highest level of importance as we approach any situation. So what we're able to do is just be their counselor, be their sales support, pre-sales support, and work with them and provide information that they might not have otherwise been able to get on such a timely basis. So it's incredibly important to our manufacturers and to OpenText that we maintain those relationships with those manufacturers, and they know that we're working with their dealers and how we're working with them, and that we're all one big team. So it's a
well, here's a question. So speaking of working with the dealers, and you mentioned that several times, right? I can tell you that this is a very unique industry, and these resellers are not like businesses in other industries. It's just different, right? There's a lot more relationship selling. I know you guys have some backgrounds. You're not just a bunch of software nerds. Tell me who's on board in this program, and maybe some of the background that you guys had. Share with us who you used to work for, Oscar.
Well, I spent 30 plus years with Rico under the Rico brand itself, never through any of the acquisitions. And so, of course, with that comes with all their dealers nationally, but then all the people I used to work with at Rico moved on to other manufacturers. So the relationship is one that goes beyond Rico into our other manufacturers. So
you guys have people in spots here who get how these guys operate, which is, I think, hugely valuable. It's tough to crack this industry, and just even a great mousetrap, right? Building the better mousetrap doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work with these guys, because there's just they like to find out who each other is using. They go on referrals and references from each other, and the vendors, the companies that sell to them, they have to know how we buy, how we what's important to us, what our cycles are like, what our customers are like, what our competitors are doing. So, kudos to you guys for staffing this group with some people who understand how the dealers work. I do want to shift gears a little bit, maybe talk a little bit about this, because I feel like, facts, right? We're talking about facts. It's 2022. We are still talking about facts. You're not the only ones who do it. You've got some great solutions. You've got some of the biggest out there. Why facts? Why are we still doing this?
I'll take that one.
Will, this is you?
Yeah, this is me. So thanks for having us. Yeah, I remember when I was questioning what facts had in life. And I, by the way, I have 30 plus years with Xerox. So I've been in that space. Why are we still doing this, right? Okay. Because it's a secure file transfer. And now there's layers to this conversation. And one of those layers is that it's also a workflow that people are very familiar with and accustomed to. And you get into people doing the thing they need to accomplish a task. They just want to do their work, right? And when using a security process is difficult, they will resort back to just trying to get work done, and they could unintentionally create a breach. So a couple of layers I want to explore with you is that, XM Fax is a fax application as opposed to what some offer as a fax feature. So we have a great web UI, and as Mark always says, it is powerfully elegant yet simple, and it is. It's got a nice layout. It's easy to use. People can get their work done. Some of the competition out there, that's all they have.
or they might have a scan to email submission. We have secure connectors on the MFP. We have mobile apps if you need those. And oh, by the way, we have a great desktop application. So we have basically a 360 of features if the client needs that. Now, back to people just kind of doing their work, we have a lot of environments, K-12, for example, they just want to walk up to the machine and send pages, walk up to the machine and get pages, and we can do that. But we're going to want to do that with a secure connector. If it's one of ours, one of the OEM produced connectors, or even our technology partnership with PaperCut, we're going to provide a secure connector. So we kind of become the custodian of data using HTTPS and TLS 1.2 when you invoke one of these apps. The distinction there is kind of important. So I'm going to tie this back together now. A lot of the competition still relies on an email submission from the MFP. I was just down at HIMSS a couple weeks ago, and it was amazing to me the number of people that would come into the booth and talk about how they're sending a fax. What they're really doing is they're sending an email to a fax service. So if you go to that fax service, it's going to say, yeah, we're HIPAA compliant, we're this compliant, we're that compliant. And I'm sure they are once they get the file. The fundamental question then is, how is that data in transit secure while it's moving through that email infrastructure to that fax service provider?
Yeah,
Okay?
like
who's
on the hook for that if it gets hit?
Who's on the hook? So for us, if you're using one of our applications, we become the custodian of data. We're forcing encryption in transit. We have encryption at rest. And then to pull it back to what Phil was talking about, the opening up of the market, not everybody is working in the office anymore. So now understanding how this information is getting from the worker's desktop to the fax service provider is a bigger deal.
So that's a good kind of shift over towards cloud, right? And everybody's trying to get to the cloud. Some have done it better than others. Why don't you guys let's talk about where is OpenText right now, and how are you guys using the cloud? Is it an opportunity? Where do you see things with your products? Mark, why don't you jump on that one?
Sure, Andy, I'll take that one. And by the way, I avoided working for all the manufacturers all these years, but I've been calling on them for about 30 years, representing other software companies. So I've got a lot of experience there. Cloud is really interesting. If you go back a few years, the preponderance of software was on premise, right? 80 to 90% of the software was on prem. You would talk to a customer at a trade show and you'd say something about cloud and they'd say, what's cloud? Boy, that has changed. It's just completely reversed. Now, 80 to 90% of everybody is looking at cloud infrastructure and being able to put their software in the cloud. And that started when companies, governments, organizations started mandating to their IT departments, get rid of hardware infrastructure, just get rid of it and figure out another way to manage this software. So cloud has really taken off. Now, what's happened with the pandemic, as we talked about before, is it has absolutely accelerated cloud usage because people are in their home offices. They have to have access to their services and their software. So there's a real demand there. And I would say 80 to 90% of it now is cloud software. What's interesting for us is we offer cloud software for all of our resellers. We also offer an MSP program where a reseller can buy our software and offer it as a managed service for their customers. And for that reseller, it's incredibly profitable, and it's revenue in perpetuity, basically. It's a subscription license. It's in the cloud. It's easy for them to manage, and they can manage all of their customers in one portal. So customers or resellers like Dex Imaging really like that model a lot, and we offer that for any of our resellers who want that.
Now, how does this fit in with, you mentioned hardware, hard wires, and we had some conversation earlier about some of the AT&T and Verizon decommissioning some of their analog lines. FCC has been making some changes with analog lines. Where are we going with this? And then how does your technology play into these changes that we're going to see?
Yeah, I think, regulation, some people are for it, some people are against it. But when it comes to the FCC and fax, this is sort of a beautiful thing for us. Because the FCC actually in August 2nd, 2019, I believe, the FCC, they granted a forbearance request that removes the obligation from all companies like the Verizons, AT&Ts, Lumen to actually have to supply analog lines, because it's very expensive for them to maintain those lines. So what's happening is that after August of 2022, coming up right now, these companies do not have to offer any new analog lines to those that want it or request it. Now, that being said, there's still millions of analog lines out there supporting alarm systems, credit card machines and things like that. And most importantly, analog fax lines that are, those analog fax cards that are in the back of the MFPs. But what they're saying is that, it's your responsibility now to look for an alternative solution, because all we're doing is anyone that has an analog line, the price is going to go through the roof, and they're basically forcing them out of that business. And then anyone who wants to add an analog line is just not going to be an option by some of these key players. So what that does is what are the alternatives? Well,
you need to address it if you're using it, right? You have to deal with that.
You have to deal with finding an alternative, and the MFP suppliers out there are going to have an alternative. Well, they do. They've got fax to mail, XM fax. All of our cloud fax options are the simplest option to migrate them pretty much overnight, because we can transfer those DIDs into the cloud.
And you literally work with pretty much just about every OEM that I can see, every A3 OEM that I can see, and pretty much every major A4 OEM. You're well known by the customers, right? And you have let's say a rekindled effort in this channel now. What's going on? I guess as we wrap up, this wasn't on your list, so I'm going a little rogue here, but
yeah, no worries.
What can we expect from OpenText for the rest of the year? We're we're a quarter of the way through it at this point. We just finished the first 3 months. There's some shows out there. There's you guys, I'm sure, are going to have some launches. What can we expect from you guys for the rest of 2022?
Well, I guess just to sum it up, our main thing is that we developed a specific team that we call our document management markets team. And you're seeing the partner managers here. We've got a plethora of account executive, pre-sale support team and stuff like that. And we are participating with all the major events. I think the next one up on the docket is probably San Antonio at Innovate Conference with Kyocera, one of our new manufacturers.
We will see you there. We will see you there.
Yeah, we'll see you there. But we support all of our major manufacturers out there and participate in their events. But the thing is it doesn't matter if you are, a direct sales rep or a dealer or a mom and pop dealer. I owned an agency for a number of years. We have an avenue for everyone and anyone to be able to supply our products and services. And the end users are asking for it. So please reach out to any of us. And, we just want to find a way to help you satisfy your customers.
This was awesome. I am going to, I think what we can do is maybe put, if you guys have a link to any of that FCC information, and then maybe we can also put a link, obviously, to some contact information from you guys. So if anyone watching this wants to learn a little bit more about these opportunities that are going to come up, and they do come now and then, they don't happen often, but when the government gets involved and says your compliance is at stake and we're changing the rules, and if you want to stay secure in our world, you're going to have to make some changes and change your technology. Great opportunity for software like you guys are offering these dealers. So thank you very much. Any last comments, words of wisdom, anything? Anybody?
I think that was a good conversation. We appreciate the time together, and look forward to talking to all of your readers out there.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for talking to us today, and we will see you in San Antonio, if not sooner. Take care, guys.
All right, take care.
Cheers.
Thanks, Andy.